ओम लोकाचार्याय गुरवे कृष्णपादस्य सूनवे संसार भोगि संद्रष्ट जीव जीवातवे नमः यो नित्यमच्युतपदां भुजयुग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धो रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये कौडिन्यवंशवरवारिधि पूर्णचन्द्रं श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशपदां भुजभृङ्गराजं रङ्गार्यदेशिकपदाप्तसुदेशिकत्वं श्रीरामकृष्णगुरुवर्यमहं प्रपद्ये।
యోగి పదాబ్జ భృంగం శ్రీవాణశైలమునివర్యదైకపాత్రం విజ్ఞానవేద శిఖరోత్పవ తత్వబోధ్యం రామానుజం కలిజితం మునిమాశ్రయామః శ్రీమత్శటార్యత్రాజకృపావలంబం సౌమ్యోపయంత్ర గగనాద్రి మునీంద్రవక్తం వేదాంతైక్మ విశదీకరణ ప్రవీణం రామానుజం యతివరం గురుమాశ్రయామః అస్మద్గురుభ్యో నమః.
జయ శ్రీమన్నారాయణ. అస్మత్ సర్వగురుభ్యో నమః. శ్రీమతే రామానుజాయ నమః. The week, 2 week.
Recording correct? Just confirming. You're recording, correct?
Yeah, recording. Chinta mastu. Last week, the week prior to last, 2 weeks ago, fortnight ago almost, exactly fortnight ago, we had just had an introductory session, and we essentially discussed प्राप्यस्य ब्रह्मणो रूपम प्राप्तुश्च प्रत्यगात्मनः उपायम फलम प्राप्ति तथा प्राप्ति विरोधी च. These are the 5, and each of them have 5 panchadhinam. There are 5 each. I was also told to make sure that if I speak in any other language apart from English, I must translate it to English without fail. So I'll keep that in mind today. For the most part, I generally tend to do. I don't know where I missed. And a lot of the parts I'm skimming through. Pardon me?
Somebody asked you for it?
Yeah, no, my mother told me. She said, why are you speaking 2-3 languages? Others won't understand.
Okay.
So, and another thing that made me this thing as well, because somebody commented from the US. So if I'm speaking in Hindi and not translating it, then it will be an issue. That's number one. Secondly, I'm also skimming through a lot of things, concepts, just because both of you understand. And I'm assuming that those who are listening also for the most part, understand. If they don't understand, I'm just letting them know. They can just comment or write to me on Instagram, or anybody else. You can, so many people will be able to help with Tattvatrayam. This is Artha Panchaka. And if they don't understand something, I can, and if they point it out somewhere, then in the next session, I can just give a brief understanding. So they are keeping up to speed. Because I am presuming that at least 1 or 2 people are watching till the end to at least understand something. And there is some value. I'm making it easy. It is easy only. There's nothing I have to make. Okay, so, okay. In that light, we had begun. Last session, we talked about Asara Shastra, Alpasara Shastra, Sara Shastra, and Saratar Shastra, Sharatam Shastram. And here we are expecting to understand what is the understanding of Shastram and how we interpret Shastram and see what aspect of it is nectarine, which holds a great amount of nectar for us to enjoy, to relish. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam, like how the Srimad Bhagavatam is the nectarine aspect of the Nigama, which is the Vedam. If the tree was the Vedam, then the ripened fruit of the Vedam is galitam phalam. Sukha mukha amritatrava samyutam, because it is coming out from Sukhacharya's Mukharavinda. It is even Mukharavinda means mouth. So it is even more delicious. Sukha also means parrot, no? And if you have ever lived in farms, I'm sure all of you, when you have this guava season, if a parrot has pecked on a guava and eaten, that guava is very sweet. So generally we won't eat that because that is jutha, but the other guavas in that branch will be very nectar, very delicious, sweet. It will be very good. So parrots generally tend to peck, and the ones they like, they will eat the full thing. So the other guavas on that branch will be very tasty. So we keep that. We used to do that when we were young. So just like that, there are many understandings of Shastram from various sampradaya. Stick to one sampradaya, stick to your sampradaya, and follow it to the dot. That is it. Okay. Hence, we'll move a little ahead with what we started last session. Give me a moment. Let me just open my book. So it's easier to follow. I forgot to open it. Yeah. Hare Sharanam. Astu. Yeah. I forgot to send you this. Did you have some PDF?
If you can send, that will be helpful.
Okay. I will send this to you.
Yeah.
It's let me just send this to you. Wait. Where is this? Give me a moment.
Sure.
I completely forgot. I shouldn't have forgotten that. Yeah, I've sent you the book. It is, somebody has, the grace of Bhagwan, somebody has taken photos of a book. So I'm just using that.
Mm-hmm.
It's good enough. At least the Moola Patha is there.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Astu. So, last week, yes. So, Virodhi cha, Swaswarupa Virodhi Paraswarupa, we understood all of the 5, right? So, let's start today with the 10th. If you go to the 10th, it's not a shloka also, the Ukti, the 10th one, the fourth PDF page. Okay. It's not necessary to have the text open at all. Some Hindi translation is given just to give you an idea what is the Sanskritam is saying. We will anyway discuss that in further detail. So there are 5 kinds of Atma. Please don't misunderstand here that there are no 5 different Atmas where the attributes of one Atma is different from the attributes of the other. Innate attributes I am talking about. So one is not square and one is not rectangular. Correct? इत्युक्त प्रकारेण देहेन्द्रिय मनः प्राण बुद्धिभ्यो विलक्षणम् अजडम् आनंद रूपम निरवयवम निर्विकारम ज्ञानस्य भूतम ईश्वरस्य न्याम्यम धार्यम शेषम. These are the attributes of Atma we had studied. Correct? The Tattvatrayam. Maybe after this I can give one crash course if somebody is interested in the Tattvatrayam 1 or 2 days, just to give an idea. It gives because those other videos are very long, and only somebody who has no work in life and only wants to study this will have the time to go through them all. So
I hear you loud and clear.
I wasn't trying. There was no innuendo. No, now I'm saying if you are going to sit for the class, that is a different thing. I'm saying to go through them again.
I'm just giving you a hard time. No issues at all.
So I may give one crash course, maybe 1 or 2 sessions, just to give an idea of what it is. You can go through it very easily if you have the hang of what we are talking about. So the Atma Swarupa does not change, but the attribute of Atma, for instance, I don't change, but you say Devdarshan who is sitting, Devnarayan who is sitting in the Kaksha, Saha Kakshasya Asti, Kakshe Asti. अथवा he is marge asti, he is on the road. Devanarayan is not changing. He is not changing from the person in the room to the person on the street. But the situation has changed. You see, how I discuss Shastram with you is very different from how I discuss Shastram with my brother or with my parents, because level is different, concepts are different, how we approach things are different, language is different. You see, I will speak to them in Nepali comfortably. I will speak to you in English and Hindi comfortably, And so nuances change. Just like that, Atma also, based on the situation it is in, there are 5 kinds. Nitya, Mukta, Baddha, Kevala, Mumukshu. These are the 5. It is not difficult to remember. I'm sure you remember them. For the rest, if you don't remember, I'll keep repeating it so you'll remember it eventually. It's good to remember some things. I always say, if you remember certain things, they are at your fingertips. So if you were to explain it to somebody, simple concepts become easy to explain if you have the jargon. Okay. So having this jargon makes it very easy for us. In the Tattvatrayam, it is only Nitya, Mukta and Baddha there he speaks of. And and here we are explaining Kevala and Mumukshu also, because within the Baddha there are Baddha, Kevala and Mumukshu. What does it mean? Let's start with Nitya first. The Jivatma, who has always remained in Vaikuntha Loka. Just to give you an idea, just to give a refresher, I'm sure you are already aware. Just to give a refresher to whoever is not listening. Tripad urdhva udayit purukaha padosyeha bhavat punaha. Ityukte tripad vibhuti asti. Atra lila vibhuti. There is tripad vibhuti, lila vibhuti. If you divide this infinite space, infinite reality into 2 parts, just divide it at the top. So one part is above perspective. It is just a matter of perspective. It doesn't really matter which is up or down. One part is above this river called the Viraja, or the ocean called the Viraja. And there is one part below. So that Viraja is the purification. You either quarantine, there you don't have to quarantine. You get in from one side and you come out clean on the other side. You see. On the other side is Tripad Vibhuti, which is what we call Vaikuntham. And there the creation of the reality is avikaraspada. There is no vikara. There is no change from one form to another, and there is no deterioration. It does not go through creation and destruction. It is forever existing. And on this side, it goes through multiple creation and destruction. That is called Leela. And we play it. In this Leela Vibhuti, there is Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jathare Shayanam. There, after you come out of this Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam, you reach there, which is called Vaikuntha, this Jivatma. So the Jivatma are of 5 kinds. The first kind is the Jivatma that has never come to Leela Vibhuti, or has never been bound by the Leela Vibhuti. Has never been bound by karma. Those Jivatma who are there in the Leela Vibhuti, in the creative universe, they are there, they are bound by action, they are bound by their actions, and therefore they are born again and again to fulfill those desires, which are, and because the actions are the manifestation of desire.
Mm-hmm.
I desire that I need to get up, therefore I get up. You see, I desire food, therefore I cook. There is first desire, sankalpam is there. And then there is action to fulfill that sankalpam. That's why it is called Atma. Apnoti iti. Whatever sankalpa it does, it fulfills it. And so it is referred to as Atma. And in this Leela Vibhuti, we are bound by karma. This Jivatma, some are there in the Tripad Vibhuti as Nitya Suris, who are always with Bhagavan, essentially. So some Jivatma who are away from Bhagavan have always remained away from the Vidyamana Murti called Bhagavan as Vasudeva, Parav Vasudeva. And there are Nitya Suris who are with them, like Garuda, Vishwaksena, Sheshavatara ityadi. So these are Nitya Suris who are there in the Vaikuntha Loka. So what is Sesha? Who is Sesha? Nivasa Sanya Sanapadukam Suko Padhana Varsha Tapavarana Divihi Sharira Bhedais तव शेषताङ्गतैः यथोचितं शेषैतीरिते जनैः. Meaning, he transforms into whatever Bhagavan desires. Bhagavan is going to sleep, suddenly transforms into a bed. Nivasa Sayya. He becomes. If he is walking and there is too much rain, he'll become the umbrella, and you know the story as well, isn't it? So whatever Bhagavan desires, these Nitya Suris accompany his fulfillment. And in imagination, imagine it this way: in this world, there are certain physics that are at play, which there are certain laws that govern how this place functions. Imagine a place, the only law that governs is the sankalpam of an individual. It's like our mind. You close your eyes and strengthen the ability of your mind to think. Whatever you think, you can create it within that mind. Isn't it? Whatever the expanse of your intellect can take you, what you can think. You want to drive a Ferrari? Imagine it is in their mind. You can drive it as fast as you can. The entire world can be built just in the mind. Very important is imagination. Maybe I'll talk about it another time. We manifest things through imagination. Whatever we do, the more clear the imagination is, the more easily it is manifested. You see, that is what is called Satya Sankalpa, the ability of the Jivatma or the Paramatma to perform action based on what they think, what they desire, Sankalpam. And so, in that state, Bhagavan, of course, has Satya Sankalpam everywhere, but that Satya Sankalpam has the ability to morph this Shesha into anything. A footwear, if he wishes. When he is walking, is the footwear. When he is traveling, it's Garuda. When he is lying down, it's the Shesha. Is around everything through that one entity. Essentially saying that the laws which govern that area is different from the laws that govern here. There, everything is to Sankalpam, meaning the state of freedom is such that every thought can manifest as action. So, to ensure that only the correct form of thinking must go there, one must desire to go there in a way where the mind is free of all the pain and fear of this world and surrender completely to that Paramatma. Then that Jivatma becomes ready to go there and remain as a Satya Sankalpi. Where Bhagavan comes, the moment you reach the other side, there is Sparsha, and then you become exactly like Bhagavana there. Except for the Srivatsa Chinna and the Kaustuba Mani and the Bhrigu Chinna. Apart from these, you look exactly like Bhagavan, Chaturbhuja. Right? And so, this Jivatma, how many are there? Ananta Koti. Bahavaha Santi. Everywhere it is Ananta. This Tripad Vibhuti, on the right side, left side, and above, it is infinite. It keeps going. It keeps extending, and it goes on. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya banasasaha. I mentioned this, right? Veda anushasanam kritva atra kim saha vadati. What is Vedam saying here? Vedaha Yato vacho. How much ever you are trying to describe what is there, that Anandam that is there in Vaikuntham, it is not enough. The Anandam that is there in the Vedam is not in written word or in spoken word. Nothing is enough to describe what is there. It will always fall short. That's why even Shankaracharya, every time he talks about the Anandam of Brahmanandam, and he talks about Atma Anubhava, Anubhava is a very important pramana there. Because you cannot describe what it is. Essentially, that the language is not enough to describe that. Even Sanskritam, Samyak, which is perfect, which is completely perfect, it is not enough. Meaning, you can imagine that Anandam will only expand and increase. And that is Nitya Atma. And the Jivatma who has never come to never bound by karma. They may come and go, like some of them with Bhagavan they will come, but they are not bound by karma. Okay? They are called Nitya Suri. Nitya Atma. And Ananta Koti are there. Thousands. And then you have Mukta Atma. So those Jivatmas who were here, but then they broke their bondage with karma from this Leela Vibhuti and went there and attained Mukti. And the moment they left the body, they attained there. And they live as Nitya Atmas, but they are not Nitya because they were here at one point. The only difference, look the same, exactly, all powers, everything is the same. Except they were here and they went there, they were always there. Ananta, from the beginning of time. That is the Mukta Atma. So when the Jivatma goes from here, apparently he says, Ahamannam, 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 Ahamannada. Adyate Adara Purvakam Upabhujyate iti Annam. Meaning that entity which has to be respected and consumed. It's called Annam. So he's saying I should be respected and consumed because you get Anandam out of what I'm doing. Yamunacharya Swamiji in the Alavandar Stotram, his beautiful shloka, he says, Nimajjato Nanta Bhavarnavantas Chiraya Meku Lamivasi Labdha Tvayapi Labdham Bhagavan Nidanim Anuttamam Patramidam Dayaya. So, Nimajjato Ananta Bhavarnavantas Vantas Chiraya. So let's say a person is drowning in the he's fallen off the thing, he's drowning. In 2005 there was a big tsunami in the what is it, the Indian Ocean, isn't it? And in Chennai there was a big problem, and I was there in Chennai at that time just after the tsunami. And the story went like there were many fishermen, and one of them, he swam for some 48 or 60 hours. And somehow somebody picked him up. So he survived by swimming for 60 hours. So imagine his relief when he found land. Just like that person finally finds land, I have been swimming in this samsara rupi sagara, sansar rupi, in this world which is the what we may attribute as an ocean, and I finally found you who are my shore. You are my shore, and I have found you. Chiraya, for many years I have been here. After a long time I found. However, Kulam eva labdhamasi. Kulam evasi labdha. I finally achieved you. However, don't feel, Bhagavan, Yamunacharya Bhagavan is saying, but don't feel as if I have reached here on the shore and I have achieved everything and you haven't. Saying don't feel like that. Tvaya api labdham Bhagavan nidanim. You have also attained something. Anuttamam patramidam dayayaha. Anuttamam here referring to, what does Anuttamam mean? It is not no uttam, bad uttam, no. Uttam means great or good. Anuttama here is na vidyate uttam yasmat, of whose there is nothing better or equal. Here referring to the self, he is referring to himself. I have reached here. There is nothing better or equal to the daya that I have, because when I come here, you are able to express the daya bhava. See, what is daya? We must understand. What is daya? See, daya is paradukha dukhitvam daya. To be able to feel the dukkha of another and lament and cry in their pain and sorrow. To be able to feel the sorrow of another, feel it from within and lament in that and cry in that for somebody else, even if you don't know. That is called daya. The bhava is daya, of course. And For that, you require somebody who is sad. But in Vaikuntham, there is nobody who is sad. So you haven't been able to express your dayanubhava, your happiness. When I come, when I reach here, Dayaya Anuttamam Patram, the best of the patra, I am the embodiment of Daya. Tvaya api idanim eva labdham, you are also attaining. The great happiness that you are attaining, I am, because I see that you are not able to remain, not that Karuna Daya, because they are all happy there. You are not able, sorry, apparently I forgot to charge. Because you are not able to express these emotions. When I come, you are gaining such great happiness. I am that Dayani Dhana, you are also attaining because I am coming, Bhagavan Ram Yamunacharya Swamiji is saying. Look at the bhava which is in which he expresses his love for Bhagavan, saying that it is the transactional relationship where you are attaining more than I am. And finally, you have found that embodiment of kindness. You have found this thing. Dayaya uttamam patram tvayapi idanim eva. Here now eva labdham you have attained. So the question is, who is more happy when the Jivatma and Paramatma meet? So Acharya say that we are very happy, but even more elated is Paramatma. He's been waiting. Because why is he the Dayanidhan? He is saying that you have come as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Parashurama, Rama, Krishna. You have come so many times, we still didn't recognize you. Now I come here recognizing you, saying your name again and again, recognizing you to be the Paramatma, and I have come with this kindness. You came to Dharati Loka, to Bhuloka, multiple times. That is Pramana, that you wanted to take us with you. But we didn't recognize. The ones who didn't recognize didn't come with you. So you want us, we know. Can you hear?
I was smacking myself.
Oh, Asta. So you want us, we know. The fact that we know is clear. That you want us. Now, because you want us, I've been chanting your name again and again and again and again, Ram, 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 and I've attained you now. For your sake, he said. So, ahamannam, vidyate, adarapurvakam, upabhujyate, I am the consumed, I am that which is ready for consumption. So, you have attained first. This is what in the Upanishad, in the Jivatma and Paramatma, that the right after he says, he again, the Jivatma again says, ahamannadaha, ahamannadaha, ahamannadaha. Right after. आधा भक्षणे धातु, मीनिंग जो अन्न को खाता है, इट इज रेफरिंग टू अन्नादः, अन्नादो, अहमन्नादो, अहमन्नादो, अहमन्नादः, पर्सन हु इज कंज्यूमिंग. So he is the consumed also, he is the consumer also. How is that possible? So he is the consumed when Paramatma is consuming, because he is so happy to see me. But I am also happy, Amannadaha. I am, why? Because I am consuming what I see in front of me. Ha, hu, ha, hu, ha, hu, ha. How the Upanishad says. He's looking at, when you see something that is, you're mesmerized, there is nothing else. And when you just see, and the expression the Vedam gives is ha, hu, ha, hu, ha. There is no other word. What else other word is there to express what you are seeing in front of you? Bhagavan, Sakshatkar is there. And so, he is consuming the Saushalya, Sauhardya, Saulabhya, Karunya, all the gunas of Bhagavan. have been consumed by this Jivatma. And therefore, aham annadaha, aham annado, aham annadaha. So what the Vedam says is, so asnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vipasthite iti. Saha brahmana, with the Bhagavan, Jivatma with the Paramatma, kaman, consumes a bhogya vastu. Kaman meaning kamyate. Kamyante iti kamaha kalyana gunaha. This is what Ramanuja Swamiji writes in his Bhashya when he describes the word kama. What is he saying? Kamyante iti kama. That which directs you towards consuming that which brings pleasure. But what is that? The main reason of that kama is kalyana guna. Because every guna in this world is kalyana guna eva. Guna Bhagavan only. If we recognize it to be his attribute, it will cause, it is what you call yoga. When you don't recognize it to be his attribute, it is called bhoga. That's the only difference. Do as you are doing, live as you are living, enjoy as you are. If you, all of this is attributed and understood of his, of my Paramatma, sab Bhagavan ka hai, then that is yoga. The moment you say, this is for me, I don't recognize Bhagavan, that is bhoga. And bhoga leads to roga. And yoga leads to parambhoga. So, so that is the only difference essentially in our lives. That is the Mukta Atma. The Jivatma who is here and attains Paramatma. So we have understood Nitya and Mukta. Any questions so far? Now we'll move ahead.
No, we are good.
Okay. Astu. Then you have Baddha Atma. So this Leela Vibhuti is made up of the Panchabhautika, Panchabhuta, Jala, Teja, Vayu, Prithvi, Akasha. So these five rudimentary elements. Don't mistake the word element here for all the periodic table, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, all of them. Goes all the way, to Anan, Pentium, Anan, Septium, Anan, Octium. Now I think they have discovered all of them. When we were studying, they hadn't discovered some of those elements. Yttrium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium, ruthenium, I forgot now. But they hadn't. We are not talking about those elements because those are created, destroyed, based on a certain grasp of a certain form of theory. It is understanding of the world or of the physical material world under the purview of a certain paradigm. When we understand the Bhautika, Bhuta here, it is understanding the Bhuta in another paradigm. It does not necessarily have to have parallels or correlate. Recognizing the same thing. So the physical entity, the plasma entity, so within the physical you have the solid, liquid, gas. So Jala, Vayu and Prithvi. And then you have the Teja, which is the plasma. In the sense that apart from the matter, there is something that exists in terms of waves. That is Teja. And then you have Akasha. All of this requires space. Even light has to travel through space. So what creates space? Akasha creating that space. We understand Akasha also has one dhatu. That which is creating space. It is not space. It creates space. Akash created this space and allowed this airport to be inside. Now it does not have. That space is created by Akasha, so there is air here. Akash creating the space for this. So first Akash creates the space. And what creates Akash? Shabda, we studied that, how the Akash is created. So there is an entity which creates space, that is called Akash. So this is a Panchabhautika Shari. So there is Vikaraspada. So Navadwara Pure Dehi, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita also. So all the body, the Jivatma, live within the Panchabhautika Sharira. And in general, from what we observe in the sentient human being, there are 9 doors to this body. And we understand it. The eyes, the nose, mouth, ears, Maladwara, Mutradwara, ityadi. And from any of these dwara, at any given point in time, and more so with the social media age, only filth comes out. The ears also, all ear wax, eyes also you'll have wax, nose you have, mouth also you'll have wax. So everywhere only filth comes out. Of course, there are some other things also which they have use for. If we have the ability to understand what it is used for and use appropriately, we become yogi. The moment we don't use it appropriately, become bhogi. The nose, use appropriately, do pranayama, you breathe good air, the body becomes well and fresh, you become yogi. Then you go and all those things people do. Then you become bhogi. It's the same nose. The ears, sit satsangam, listen to shastram, listen to bhajan, kirtan, listen to upanyasakas giving upanyasam. Yogi. The same ears go listen to the everything else. Even gossip. Gossip is one big problem. Bhogi. It binds you. As long as, because what is the difference between these actions? Just understand the very simple concept. The difference between these actions is, one of them is increasing your asaktipana, increasing your attachment to this body. The other one is reducing your attachment to this body. That is the only difference. That which is increasing the attachment to this body is causing you harm, because that Atma is becoming more and more attached to the body. And those Atma which are attached to this body is called Baddha. So let's see what the Muktanam Bhagavat Prasadena. This we did already, so I won't go through that. Do you want me to go through the pada, whatever? It's not necessary, no? Anyway, Muktana Bhagavat Prasadena Nivritta Prakriti Sambandha. I already mentioned all of this. Vaikuntha Mahanagare Vartamanaha Santoshananda Prayuktaha Munayaha. So those who go there, Muni Munayaha. Okay. And in the Vaikuntham there will be Anandameva. Atra Baddaha Nama Panchabhautiko Anityaha Sukha Dukkhanu Bhava Parikara. Here Sukha and Dukha Anubhava Bhavati Baddhatma. Because it is bound to this body now, it will feel Sukham and Dukham. Atma Vishleshe Darshanaspadarsana Yogyo Ashuddhyaspado Ajnananyatha Jnana Viparita Ajnana, Ayathartha Jnana and Viparita Jnana. Because of these 3 kinds of incorrect knowledge systems, that entity feels that this body is him or her. Paritagyana janako dehe eva atmeti. The Atma is, the body is me. I am this body, meaning he is understanding that the Atma is the body. Deha eva atma iti. Shabdadi Vishayanu Bhava Jana. So he is attached to the material world, the things that are happening within the material world. Bhava Jani Tasva Deha Shosha. And so what he does is, he always consistently takes care of the body. He performs action for the benefit only of the body and the pleasure of the body. So you wear kajal and all these, or you can wear kajal, I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying all the makeup. I don't know many makeups, so I thought only kajal. But they put makeup on, and if that is increasing the asaktipana of the body towards the body, now that is papamai. If you're just doing it for Bhagavan or for your Pati Deva, Patni, whatever, again that is that is yogaspada, that is creating detachment, because you are looking at something much greater than the physical body, not for yourself. You see, there is a huge difference. Once you start taking care of your body as you, and I say that the jnana of the Atma is as the body, and I am the body, this Atma is this body actually, and the concept of consciousness is an outcome of this body, then what happens? Iti shabdadi vishaya labhau paikataya varnashrama dharman vinashya asevya sevam krutva. So if he wants things, understand. We all know the bhajan, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Swami Jaya Jagadish Hare, भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे. संकट को क्षण में दूर करते हैं भक्त जन के. भक्त को संकट दूर करना ही नहीं है. Just trying to understand. The bhakta bhaja sevayam, he wants to perform kainkarya for Bhagavan. That entity is called bhakta. He doesn't care about sankat for himself. Essentially, I'm just giving what a true bhaktajan really wants. He just wants to perform seva for Bhagavan. If Bhagavan wills, very important. That's all. Essentially, he wants nothing. That is where bhakti really begins. The moment you want something, there is swartha in it. Therefore, there cannot be bhakti. Bata. So, jo dhyave phala pave, dukha bina se manaka, sukha sampati ghara aave, kashta mite kiska? Tanaka. Sharir ka. So all the phala of the Veda, so they'll have one kusha with some little jalam in the hand, one pushpam and one coin they will give, and now this is what they want in return. All of us, I'm saying, how we beg. Dukha vina se manaka, we want sukha and sampati, let that come home and remove the kashta only from the body. Kashta mite tanaka jaya jagadish hare prabho. At least they're saying the name. So what we are doing is there is always transaction. What do we do? Shruti smriti puranokta phala prapyartham. Into sankalpam. I am giving this. Let the phala of all the karma of the shruti and smriti and of the puranokta, let that all come to me. Imagine the audacity of us jivatmas going there with 10-15 rupees, and this is the sankalpam the Pandit ji is doing for you. Then aprapya lakshmihi prapyartham. That dhanam that is not with you, let that come. Bhagavan himself will come, you don't want, you want the dhanam. Aprapya lakshmihi prapyartham, that is not enough. Prapta lakshmihi api chirakala paryantam. It should always remain chirakala paryantam. The dhanam you have, it shouldn't go anywhere. That also you are scared of. So the one you don't have. So imagine what is happening is bhuta hitasa krutva. So here he is saying asevya sevam krutva, for this dhanam, to ensure that this body is alive. Asevya, those entities who do not deserve seva, like preta, bhuta, ityadi, you start bartering with them. I want this, I'll give you, I'll do bali, I'll cut. Bhuta himsang krutva. Kimartham? Bhuta ityukte bali. There is a certain form of bali for certain benefits. Okay. This is for selfish benefit. When you do this, what happens? Here Varna dharma, what do? Varna dharma tyaktva adharma palanam kurmaha sarvam. Huh? What is dharma palanam? What is adharma palanam? We have gone through them before. Because he uses here varana ashrama, dharman. I am Manusmriti here. I'll just tell you what dharma for each of them is. What Manu Dharma Raja says. You want me to say or no? Sarvasya tu sarga. So first he says that Adhyaya 1, okay, 87, from 87, 88, 89, 90. These are the shloka if anybody wants to go and check that I've read it correctly. They can do. Sarvasyasya tu sargasya guptartham sa mahadyutihi mukha bahurupajjanam prithak karmanya kalpayat. Saying that the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, because what he's saying here is for certain specific dharma, for certain specific karma, for certain specific attributes, each of them were created to follow their attributes. So what is the Brahmana created from? From the body of Bhagavan, no? So here it is talking about the creation. All the Dharma Shastra generally start with the one form of creation. Adhyapanam, adhyayanam, yajanam, yajanam tatha, danam, pratigraham chaiva, brahmana nama kalpayat. Adhyayanam, adhyapanam, to study and to teach. Yajanam, yajanam, to perform yagyam and to perform yagyam for another. Danam, pratigraham, to give danam and to take danam. These six dharma for the Brahmana. Prajanam rakshanam danas siddhyadya yajamevacha vishayeshva prasaktischa kshatriyasya samasatah. Prajanam rakshanam, first the protection of praja, everyone in the vicinity he has to protect. That's why Bhagavan Ram, when he went for Vanavasa, he left everything, he took all his weapons. All my the wealth and glory is agami, meaning it has come because of the king, because of the people. But these weapons are my janma dharma. I cannot leave them, because even in the forest I have to perform my dharma as a kshatriya. So I need my weapons. So he carried all the weapons and took. Lot of weapons were carried and taken. Some 63 different missiles were taken. I mean, whatever you call them, were taken, which was given by the Acharya. Okay. So to perform dharma. So prajanam rakshanam, to give danam, to perform yagyam. He cannot take danam, kshatriya. Not taking. Give danam. Yagya, to perform yagyam, he cannot perform yagyam for another. He can perform yagyam for himself with somebody sitting there and performing it. And study, padna. And to ensure that he does not get attached to the worldly pleasures. That's important, no? Because when you have such strength, you have to be very careful. Then, Vaishya. Pashunam rakshanam danam ijyadhyayanam evacha Vanik patham kusidam cha vaishyasya krishimevacha. This is the dharma of the Vaishya. To protect animals, pashu ka raksha karna. To give danam, again don't taking, only giving danam. Okay. Yajna karna, you must also perform yagyam. To study, to perform vyapara, trade, and to give loan if somebody needs dhanam, and do agriculture. These are the 6 dharma, and from this you must recognize which is the Vishesha dharma, which the others are not allowed to do. You see, that makes you the Vishesha dharma you must perform, like that, you understand. Huh? And then Ekameva tu Shudrasya Prabhu Karma Samadishat Eteshameva Varnanam Shushrusamana Suyaya. Little small print. The Shudra has only one dharma, which is the most important dharma. If you understand, if all the dharma that are performed requires something which is already there. You see, Adhyayanam, Adhyapanam, if a Brahmana is performing only those dharma, somebody has to bring him food. How is he going to eat? He's going to teach everyone. If Kshatriya has to perform his dharma, somebody has to make the weapons. Somebody make the houses. Somebody has to make the murti in the temples. Who's going to do? For all the dharma the uparyukta dharma, all the dharma that have been mentioned above, you require somebody to ensure that is completed. You require some help. So that is his dharma. Ekameva tu Shudrasya Prabhu Karma Samadhisat. He has to ensure and help in all these 3 activities. That is his dharma. And he performs. There is apparently, I was listening to somebody, and there are still families, Shudra families in the south. And when they have been long, for many years, they have been making temples for thousands of years. And apparently, when they choose the stone, by just feeling the stone, looking at the stone, they know what varana the stone is. Based on the varana means the type of stone. Based on the type, only a certain type of stone can only make a certain form of deity. And they know that. So to know that, they must study Shastra. So they study Purana and they study in close proximity with the Brahmana. So, I'm just breaking some non-issues, the things that people have misunderstood. I'm just trying to put it out there. Now they must study them. Then for each form of deity, you have a certain prakriya, you have a certain way of living. So 6 months, 7 months, you have to start doing japa of a certain mantra. While carving, you have to do mantra there. You must give up certain food. You can only wear certain dresses, certain colored dresses. You have to do certain vratas. You have to be among certain people. Only certain foods can be consumed when you are making the deity. Once the deity is made, the temple is made around the deity. Based on the kind of rock, the kind of material being used, the way the upasana has been done to create the murti, the temple has to be created around that, and he has to do it. Nobody else knows how to do. Look at the Bhavya Ram Janma Bhoomi that has been made right now. Who is doing it? The workers, their family tells them apparently that because of you, many generations of our family will go to Vaikuntha Loka, will go to Sakya Loka with Rama. Because of you, because of this punya karyam that you are doing there. Imagine the ability of just this action having repercussions for thousands of years. Because of their work today, we are being, we will, hundreds and thousands of generations will go and see Bhagavan Sri Ram there as Ramalalla. So the punyam is consistently adding up, and nobody's been working for free, have they? They have been given their rosy roti. You work, give you money. That's how you do you survive. How the Vaishya survives, how the Kshatriya survives, how the Brahmana survives, how the Chaturtha survive, they all survive and ensure this Varana Ashrama, as Manu has explained here in the Smriti. Nowhere, ensuring based on the responsibilities, you perform action, and these 8 stamba, Varana and Ashrama, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa, These 8 pillars will hold Sanatana Dharma. So Baddha Atma, because of their asaktipana, because of their attachment to the body, have come away from that. And they perform himsa. Then what do they? Now, because there is too much asaktipana, now the mind is not clear. Para, dara, paradravya, paharam, krutva. Apaharanam krutva. Somebody else's paradareshu, meaning women, looking at other women in an incorrect way, looking at others' wealth in an incorrect way. What is the pandita? What is the jnani? Matrivat paradareshu, Chanakya says very well. Matrivat paradareshu, paradravyeshu laushravat, atmavat sarva bhuteshu, yah pashyati sapanditaha. What does the pandita see? All the para women, apart from his own wife, he only sees them as mata. Matrivat paradareshu, paradravyeshu laushravat. Every other wealth that does not belong to him, he sees it as sand, mud. Atmavat sarva bhuteshu, everyone he sees as equal to him. Yah pashyati, this is how a pandita sees the world. Yah pashyati, saha panditaha. This is the things which the pandita have. Pandita means jnani. And so he loses the pandita, the brahmanatva, kshatriyatva, vaishyatva, shudratva. He loses it. Now the dharma is declining because of this. Therefore, Bhagavad Vimukhas Chetanaha. So those जीवात्मा भगवान से जो विमुख होते हैं उनको what do we call them? बद्धात्मा. अस्तु. Any questions so far? Because my computer, I had it had to be formatted because something happened and they removed all the data. So all the Artha Panchaka notes and audio recordings I taken with my Swamiji is all gone. It's gone means it's gone. So I stayed with him for many days. Every time I took a lot of audio recordings were there. So generally every now and then listen to it and take some notes because when you learn from Acharya, very different.
Yeah.
So now just before the session, I just take some notes to ensure that I speak the point. I've taken some notes, not the same notes as I would have had otherwise. It is okay. So what are the 3? Nitya, Baddha, Mukta. Mukta, Baddha.
Nitya Mukta Baddha.
And then you have Kevala. केवल इज जो कैवल्य के उपासक है, आत्मोपासना. So what happens is the Jivatma is very tired of all the pain and misery in this samsara. And so he wants to find a way out. Kevalo nama ekaki atyanta shupti pasabhyam पीड़ितो भक्ष्या भक्ष्य विवेकम कर्तुम अशक्तः स्वदेहम स्वयमेव भक्षयित्वा प्रसन्नो भवति. Okay, so he's saying when a jivatma is atyanta shupti pasabhyam, meaning hungry, very hungry and very thirsty for very long. When you are very hungry and when an entity is very hungry and thirsty for very long, whatever food you give, you without thinking, without having the ability to discern whether it should be consumed or not, you'll put for the protection of the body. So like that, there are jivatmas. They recognize that this prakriti is vikaraspada and the jivatma is nitya. So they start focusing on that which is nitya. They recognize that the body, the jivatma has come. So when it is in the jathar, there is the jivatma has come when the woman is pregnant. Then you say asti, jivatma asti, the existence has started. Then it is born, jayate. What is jivatma? न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भवितावान भूय अजो नित्यं शाश्वतोयम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. That is the Jivatma. Recognizes the Sharira, the body is Anitya. The Sharire, Nahanyate Hanyamane Sharire, neither can it die nor can it kill. This Jivatma is Nitya. So once it is born, it survives, Vardhate. And then it grows up, Viparinamate. And then it becomes old, Abhakshiyate. And then finally Vinashyate. It dies. This change is there in everything in this world. And these Jivatma realize. But what happens is, once they realize the Jivatma, they want to attain only the Jivatma, because there is Anandam there. Because Bhagavan is there within the Jivatma also, there is Anandam there, and in that Anandam, that is enough for them. But what is it like? This is what Lokacharya Swamiji is saying. So, because of Vivekam Kartum Ashaktaha, Uttam Vivekana, they are not able to make decision whether something is good or bad. Swadeham Swayameva Bhakshayitva Prasanno Bhavati. When you are enjoying in the merriment of the Anandam of the own Atma, it is like eating your own body and feeling happy, is what Swamiji is saying. So there is Anandam there, but it is the Anandam only of the self. It has no comparison with the Brahmanandam. It is the Atmanandam which is there, which is far greater than anything in this Leela Vibhuti, Satyam. There is nothing in parallel. But our Acharyas are still saying that Bhagavad Anandam is something very different. Tatha samsarada vagnina taptas san. So they are coming away from sansara dukkha nivrittartham shastra janya jnanena prakrityatma vivekam kritva. So they recognize that the Jivatma is different from the Prakriti. They distinguish that and go for the Nitya. Away from the Prakriti, away from the Maya, they go to the Prakriti, that which is Nitya. Krita Prakrite Dukkhashraya Tvaheya Padartha Samuhatva. So they understand that the place, everything here is Heyaspada, meaning there it should be Tyajya. Tyajya meaning something which has to be given up. अस्तु सुखित्वनि त्यक्त्वा प्राकृतत्वस्वरूपाकारञ्च अनुसन्धाय पूर्वं स्वेनानुभूत दुःखाधिक्येनैत दल परस आसक्तो ज्ञानानंदमय परमात्मा विवेकम कर्तुम अशक्तः. So there, because they are now, because like a hungry person, when they suddenly find food, they'll eat without recognizing what has been just for the survival. The moment they find that, so here what it is saying is, just like a dog finds a bone and starts biting on the bone. First it enjoys whatever the flesh is outside, then it sucks on the bone, it all the marrow, bone marrow also it sucks. Now it is dry, but the dog will keep sucking, keep biting it and enjoying it. What is actually happening is the edges of the bone is cutting the insides of the dog's mouth, and the dog is bleeding from within and sucking its own blood and enjoying in that. You see, it appears to be that the bone is giving the happiness, that enjoyment to the dog, but essentially it's sucking the own blood that is coming from his own mouth. He doesn't realize. And it is almost like that, Bhagavan, our Acharya is saying here. So this body is not, the Atma is Najayate Mriyate. Prakriti, 24 tattvas are there. What are the 24 tattvas? Come on. I'll give a bouncer now. Oh.
Ankara, Mahan, Prakriti.
Prakriti first.
Yeah, the 24 tattvas are there, no?
Yeah, we are going, right? Ahankara, Mahan, Manas,
Manas,
Pancha Karmendriyam, Pancha Jnanendriyam, Pancha Mahabhutam, Pancha. What is it? The 5
Tanmatra. Uttam. Uttam.
I have it on a screen share file. Always ready to go.
Uttam. So Pancha Karmendriya, and which is Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Pasta, and Pancha Gyanendriya, Chakshurendriya, Granendriya, Twakendriya, Rasendriya, and Shrotarendriya. Okay, that makes 10. Then you have Pancha Tanmatra, Shabda Tanmatra, Shabda Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. That is Panchadasha. Then Pancha Bhuta, we already spoke of that. Akasha, Vayu, Teja, Prithvi, and what is the fifth one? Agni, Tapa. So that is the Pancha Bhuta. And then you have Chatvari Antakarana, Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. And you can give different names. So essentially, they're all the same. They manifest in different forms. So you give these 4. And then you have the 25th, which is the Atma. Makarartho Jiva. Ma. If you do the Varnamala also, Ka, Kha, Ga, Ghanga, Cha, Cha, Ja, Jhaya, Ta, Tha, Da, Dhana, Ta, Tha, Da, Dhana, Pa, Pha, Ba, Bha. Bha is 24, the 25th is Ma. Ma is Makarartho Jiva. Okay. And is Bhagavan. Then Ma. Once you finish Ma, then you go to the Vyanjan, Swara, and then that is That is Bhagavan. I mean, our acharyas, use all these things to express. But essentially, all these tattvas, even the Atma is the 25th tattva there. Okay? And so the Kevala, they differentiate between these two. And because they're able to differentiate between them, they see this and they hold on to this. And there is Anandam in this, please, there is no misunderstanding here. But Acharyas refer that Brahmanandam, there is still no comparison to the Atma Anubhava. And that is called Kevala. Because they will go for Kaivalya Muktihi. Kaivalya. Okay?
But the Paramatma is still within that Atma too.
Yes, therefore there is Anandam there. But there is Nirguna, no? There is only the self. Guna even nasti. There is no qualities. Without qualities, you can only bask in the absence of dukkham. And therefore there is Anandam because of Paramatma. Because where there is no qualities, you only bask in the absence of qualities. And so therefore there is only existence.
The Advaitis are referred to as Kevala.
Yes. So Advaitis are generally referred to as Kevala.
Yeah.
And there are again factions, no? If you look at the Vallabha Sampradaya, they are Shuddhadvaitis, if I am not mistaken. Shuddhadvaiti means they are saying there is only their Advaita Tattva eva santi, Chitta Ishwarana, Sarvam Maya eva, Satyam Satyam Punah Satyam Harir Nama eva Kevalam eva Uktavantaha. They are only saying that, they have been saying that. However, the Vallabha Sampradaya, what they do, once you attain the Samadhi, state of Sammastiti, then there is Prema Utpatti, Bhavitum Shaknumaha. So for us, what will happen is, once you have that Samadhi, now you become two again. There is one, Advaita, then you become the Shesha Sheshi Bhava, and in that Shesha Sheshi Bhava, you enjoy. I don't know, so there's certain things that probably with Anubhava one will understand. But this is the concept. The essential concept is that what is the one nectar within the Sri Sampradaya or the Ramanuja Sri Sampradaya or Ramananda Sri Sampradaya, which is different from any of these other Sampradayas. One difference. Because we are Sri Sampradaya, there is something we must have in our grasp that is different from the others, different from all others.
I mean, the realization that we are subservient.
No, that is there in others also.
Okay.
For in any other, even in the Advaita, even though they say Aham Brahma, Jagad Mithya, Brahma Eva Satyam, Atma Brahma Iti. Even there, bhakti has to be performed, no, somewhere. They do bhakti. For the embodiment of that Paramatma Nirguna, they do Saguna Upasana and then they attain Nirguna. That is the concept.
Yeah.
So even there is. So what is this one thing that is there in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya which is not there elsewhere?
The Sharanagati.
Sharanagati is also there. Because people perform here, we'll understand this later, it will come in the Pancha this thing only. The only difference is that when you do Acharya Abhimana, the Purushartha, through the Acharya when you perform Sharanagati, Acharya is performing Sharanagati.
Yeah.
Once the Pancha Samskara has been done, it is Nishchaya you will attain Mukti in this life. There is no other Sampradaya which gives a determinant factor. They say that you have to do this. Even in Madhva Sampradaya, you have to do this. But here after Pancha Samskara, there is no prerequisite. You will attain.
You will let it.
However, if you are doing Papam, you will have to face the brunt of it in this life before going. But you will attain. That is the difference. No other Sampradaya comes like says that. Only Ramanuja Swamiji. That is why he is so Dayalu, Kripalu. M. Peruman.
Embermana.
Recently, I realized that the Desika Sampradayam, they have two steps to it. The Pancha Samskaram and then, what is it called?
Baranyasam.
Baranyasam.
Okay.
No. When we say Pancha Samskaram, we are guaranteed.
Yes.
Then there's
For us,
another step there, right? So
It is both. One step is divided into two for them. That is all it is.
that's what I'm saying.
One is the learning process, and then when you are ready, then they do the Sharanagati.
Okay. Desika also Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya only.
Yes. I mean, right? Vadagala, the North Indian the northern style.
Northern, no?
Right. It is the same Sampradayam. Sampradayam is Embermana Sampradayam only actually, right? Their heritage is there, but they don't do Sharanagati in one step, they do it in two steps. Basically, they do the Panchasamskaram and come back, then they learn and practice, and then they'll have to go and surrender again. At the end, through the Acharya, the same Acharya, when the Paranyasam is done, then the Sharanagati is done. So it's like a, I would call it as an internship training program.
For us also, I think our Acharya were a little more benevolent.
Together and come one shot, that's all.
Swamiji, the only way Acharyas would initially give Sharanagati is if the students stayed with the Acharya for at least a year. And then Acharyas reduced it to a month. And nowadays that also nobody is doing.
You go one day, get it done and come back. Right? There are people who don't go back and see the Acharya also.
Yes.
Right? So
that is Nitya Mukta Baddha Kevala. And finally you have the Mumukshu. Moksha Ko Ichha Garne. Those who have the Ichha to attain Mukti, to attain Moksha. Mokshe Chu Na Mumukshu Va Iti Nama. So those who are wanting to attain Moksha, you'll understand what that is. The one who have Ichha for it, who have the yearning to attain Paramatma, they are referred to as Mumukshuhu. Ete cha mumukshavaha upasakaha prapannascha dvidha. So mumukshu also, there are two kinds. Upasakaha and prapanna. Upasaka and prapanna. There are two kinds. We'll get into that in the next session. Okay. And any questions so far? How much time? Good time. I'm maintaining time also nowadays.
So technically, a mumukshu is a Atma who's trying to get free.
Yes, but in Artha Panchaka, Swami differentiates that also, because he is Baddha, yes, but he is not Badhya, meaning he is not, he recognizes where the bondage is.
Correct.
So he is performing his Varna Ashrama Dharma, he is performing his Vaidika Dharma, he is performing his Kula Dharma, and he is performing his, all the requisites proposed by the Acharya, referred to as a Mumukshu, who has Ichha for Mukti.
So the So these are levels, or these are states at which the Atmas differ. And the difference in the states, is it based on the quality that the Atma experiences or has gained, or is it related to the actions, the karmas of the Atmas? You know what I mean? Like, we can't say, like, I think Nityatma, we are saying they never have karmas.
Okay.
Nityatma never had karmas.
They have karma, they are not bound by it. So if they're coming, if let's say Ramanuja Swamiji has come, Sheshnag avatar, he uses karma as an excuse to be born here, but he's not bound by it. He came, lived for 120 years and he went. It is his ichha.
Does not affect them.
No, it's his ichha. If his ichha was at 119.72 years, he would have done that and gone. But he wanted to stay 120 years. That is his ichha. Vedam also gives 120 years only for Jiva in Kali Yuga. So.
And muktas get to a point where karma does not bind them.
Yes. So essentially there are two kinds. Okay. Ananta Koti Brahmanda.
Yeah.
But the Satya, the Parabrahma, the Jivatma everywhere. So some happen to be with Paramatma in Vaikuntha Loka, some happen to be in the Leela Vibhuti. Those which happen to be outside of the Tripad Vibhuti is referred to as Leela Vibhuti. That's our understanding that way. Those people who happen. So Bhagavan is coming here to make sure that we also go with him there. Easier. We are suffering here. So he creates Leela to ensure that these Jivatma also come to him. Essentially. So we have been here for eternity. There has never been a time where we were not here. So you have people who have always been with Bhagavan and there's people who have always been here. That means there are some people who are wanting to go from here to there. So those people who are wanting to go from here to there are called Mumukshu. Those people who have succeeded in going from here to there, that are called Mukta. Those people who are not even wanting to go from here to there, want to remain here, they are called Baddha. And those people who want to go there but don't, they recognize another path to attaining, to come out of this world. Just come out of this dukkham, but not into that sukham, a different sukham, that is called Kevala. That's all.
Yeah.
See, even between the Kevala and Mumukshu, the Kevala, and the Kevala and the Mukta, the only difference is the state of Upasana, the Nirguna Upasana, Saguna Upasana, which is greater. That's all. All the debates, all the fights, all the things that happen between the Vaishnava and Shaivya in the south, they happen, not the physical fight for this. I'm just saying in terms of Shastrartha. And one person disproving the other, that is it's very natural if you have many different systems of understanding. The main difference is just that. That is Saguna Upasana, the Sarvopari Upasana, Nirguna Upasana. Meaning, in the final state of Paramatma, is he Nirguna or Saguna? That is the question.
Yeah, that is always the question.
That is all. And we are saying Nirguna is the question, Saguna is the question, and we go answer and we go towards that. It's okay if Nirguna becomes the penultimate and Saguna is the penultimate, well and good. If Saguna is the penultimate, Nirguna is the ultimate, that's also well and good. I want to be with Saguna. I want to be entertained by the gunas of Bhagavan. If somebody does not like the gunas and want to be entertained without it, well and good. Some people like to watch TV, some people like to sit in silence.
Since the question is, for many, they don't even understand the differentiation of body and Atma, right?
They are Baddha.
They are Baddhas. But for us to even get to the point where, of course, all the Shastras, all the scriptures are there, but when we start explaining, there's so many questions that, it's interesting how everybody's thought process works. And then when they want to understand, how do I categorize myself? Some people are like, oh, I think I would have been a Nitya. Why did I become a Baddha?
Your choice.
Exactly. So for people to understand that it was their choice, that owning what they are at, right? That is a tough process. I think it's but then to also think through how karmas, and it's not changing the atmas, the what do you call it, the attributes of the atma has not changed. The physicality or whatever the physicality of an atma is never gets disturbed. It is only the quality of the atma that makes it
Not the quality of the Atma, the avarana around the Atma. See, even the choice, understand this choice. I didn't go through it because I didn't want to be repetitive, but just as an example, see, when was the Atma created? Because the question is that where was I before I performed my first karma?
Mm-hmm.
There was no time when you didn't perform karma. It has always been.
Always been.
Ananta, Anadi and Ananta. No beginning, no end. That is called Sanatana. Okay? No beginning. So the Jivatama has always been.
Yeah.
Some have been in Tripad Vibhuti, some have been in Lila. Many. So Ananta Kotiyo. If I ask, if she or whoever asked you, why wasn't I Nityama? You are not choosing to be. The moment right now you want to go to Tripad Vibhuti, you can right now. You don't want to. You have attachment to family, father, mother, brother, sister. You have attachment to clothes. You have attachment to house. You have attachment to land. You have attachment to money. You want all of this. How can you go there? To go there, you have to leave this. Do you want to leave this now? Leave it now. The moment you leave, you are there. The problem is we don't want to leave. You want to go there, who is stopping you? No one is stopping. You yourself are the impediment to your success.
True, and that's how I explain it. And the other question that comes up is, can an atma know another atma?
It does know, we are knowing.
Meaning, say somebody has passed. Can I know what their current state is?
Yes, of course. You can potentially do. Whether you will be able to right now or not is a different question. See, Atma, we studied this in Tattvatrayam.
Yeah.
Atma only knows itself. Dharma, bhuta jnana. Dharmik jnana we talked about, no? Dharmik jnana. I am, it knows. Using the jnanam, it knows others. And jnanam, using the Atma, knows itself. Remember that, right? The association of jnana and Atma. Mm-hmm. And only then they can exist. Atma requires the jnana to know the world. The jnana requires Atma to know itself. And so I can say I am. So let's assume that is one entity now. And it is, let's say another Atma has passed. Even after the passing of an Atma, it goes into a Karana Sharira. There is another Shariram. It has to, because the Atma by itself cannot move around. It requires a body. Yeah. So it goes into another body. Uses that body, pranic body, some body it uses. Karana Sharira, Deha, so many names, so many kinds of Atma, depending on where it needs to go. We go out of this body every night, every 2-3 nights you'll go out of the body. You just don't remember it when you come back. Have you ever had dreams when you are feeling like you're falling? You're falling, constantly falling, you're not reaching the ground, you're falling, suddenly you wake up. That feeling of that falling is when the Jivatma is coming, being pulled back into the body because you have to wake up. It's pulled back. And so it feels as if it's falling. Sometimes when you wake up, suddenly you start panting. Heart beating, you can hear it. It's just because it's abruptly stopped from going somewhere or abruptly pulled back, This is what our yogis say. And this, just through Nama Sankirtana, consistently, if you start doing japa, you don't have to go through all these Kundalini and all. It is, Kundalini is there. There is a concept, it has been done, it can be done. The concept of the Kundalini is like this. This is the physical body. I want to control this body to the best way possible. How is it? Bhagavan has given how to control the Kundalini in the Bhagavad Gita. You have to read it in that paradigm. You will recognize it. Then you have the Mooladhara. Mooladhara is the basal instinct of a human being. It is facing downward right now. That's why people go through all these drugs and sex and everything. Because the Mooladhara is facing downward. When the energy, when the prana moves downward from the Mooladhara, for that moment you feel pleasure, and that's why you think that, this is so great. The first upasana, first thing you do is do the bandha, Moola bandha. Close that so it doesn't go downward. Move it upward. The moment you move it upward, then you will see the anandam changes. You are not bound by, and it is consistent. Then you allow the prana to move upward. The Swadhisthana, Anahata, Manipura, Anahata, then Vishuddha, then Agnya Chakra. Once you start opening out different realities become more evident to you. Those realities that look rather irrelevant, things you cannot see, you will be able to see. There are jivatmas all around. Okay, pretas are there all around. But our eyes are not able to see it because we are not able to resonate with it. If we are able to perform these, chakra, all of these things, if you're doing it correctly, if you don't do it correctly, you fall very fast. That's why you need. Then you can. Those of us who are in the Sharanagati Marga, we don't go through that. We don't need. Our acharyas say, while doing japa, if you have full concentration from now and consistently you start focusing on japa, all these things will come. They'll come and go. It'll be irrelevant to you. Be careful, forget it. Everything will come and go. You'll be able to see what others are thinking, what they want, everything you'll be able to see. But it's irrelevant. What will you do when somebody else is thinking something? What will you do? Okay, they're thinking. Okay, now what? What will you do with it? It is of no consequence to you. Where somebody is going, what is it? It doesn't matter to you. No, it doesn't.
You have to focus on yourself.
So focus. You reach there first. Once you reach there, you do what you want. Then you don't want to do all these things. Our acharyas are there sitting, they can do all of this. They don't want to do. Why should they do? Not necessary. Do it this way, through this. Is the most, Nama Japa, Nam Sankirtana is the best way. Where you will not fall. If at all you will remain in the same place, you will keep rising only. There is no place for falling. It's like a big sponge underneath.
Right.
No? So look at it like that. It is possible to see, definitely.
So the other question is, do we know the location of where we are in the body?
Yes.
The Hridaya Kamalam.
Yes.
Is it like situated there? Is it like as Atmas we are staying there, or when you say in the nights we exit and we come back?
Yes.
Does that mean we are movable? We are not movable.
Yes, we are movable. If there is a physical, I'm talking again in terms of Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta. In the Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta, this body with Atma there are many.
Right.
The physical entities, there's something. There is something which is enveloped by something else. And it exists. And it finds its location in the Hridaya Kamalam. So when you do Anahata Dhyana, you can imagine it to be right there. As one light or whatever, Pranava. And you can move that around. Don't get into this, it's not necessary. But yes, there is a physical thing. And when it comes out, it doesn't come out by itself, it comes out as a Sharira, just like this body. It will come out like the body. It will be fly around like the physical body. It can see. It can't feel and it can't eat. It can smell. It can recognize smell. It can't taste. It can't touch. But it can move around. And unfortunately, when it comes back to the body, it forgets. So there are ways to ensure you remember it. And there are ways to go out willingly. There are ways. Now, if I knew them, I'm a teacher, I don't know how to do it. So,
No, I'm not wanting to learn. I'm just wanting to understand so we can.
there are people who can teach you, but don't waste time. You'll learn that for 30 years and then your body will go, what will you do with it? Like the famous with Tulsidas Swamiji, the one very good friend of his, or someone, he went to the Himalaya and he meditated for some 30 or 40 years, got a siddhi. He could walk on water. Siddhi meaning these kind of siddhis will come. Anima, Garima, Lagima, Mahima. These Ashtasiddhi are basically that one of the siddhis. Sometimes you'll get 2-3 of them. Sometimes you'll get all 8 of them. Sometimes you won't get, it won't come, it'll just go. You'll pass it. All these things. So he got that siddhi where he could walk on water. So he came and told this thing, Swami, that I can walk. It's like, you wasted 40 years on this. The boat can do the same thing, take you from one side of the river to the other. What will you do walking on water? Now what will happen? Imagine this, the body is going to die. You wasted 40 years where you could have been doing Ram, 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 on doing some sadhana to walk on water. Just think about that. So when you realize that it is of little consequence, then see, it's like the sukha sampati ghara ave kashta mite tanaka. That is also wealth for you. The aham vritti is there. The ahamkara is there. That मैं हूँ, मैं कर सकता हूँ, मेरी शक्ति है. It is mine. I can do it. That and because of that, all these I want this and that will come. It doesn't matter. It's okay. If it comes, good, it's enjoyable. If you have the capacity to stay awake outside the body in the night, you can do studies of Shastram. I mean, that is the one reason why I really wanted to do that one point of time. So when I'm sleeping, I can do Shastra studies, and in the day I can earn money. That's what I thought. But it takes too much time, and it's very difficult. And you either do one thing or the other. When you're doing such things, you cannot concentrate on japa. Concentrate on the, you don't have mantra. The Dvaya mantra. Concentrate on the Dvaya mantra. 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds as much as you can every day. When you're walking into Dvaya mantra, sitting, like you chew pan or gutka. Like that, Dvaya mantra should be in your mouth. Always. And if you think in a certain situation you don't want Dvaya mantra, Narayana, 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 Narayana. That's all. Make it a habit. Ram, Ram. One Ram. Sometimes I wish my mantra Ram only, because Ram is so easy to pronounce also. Narayana. Whatever. Make whatever name, Mataji, I'm telling you, whichever Rupa of Bhagavan, there is nothing I have understood now, that there is nothing like I like this Devata, this Bhagavan more than that. Whichever Bhagavan is there near you will start liking. My Priya Bhagavan is here. He was here when I came to the room. I have started liking him now. I don't want to leave him only. And so I went to temple in Leicester. I was looking at Bhagavan, but I'm telling him, Bhagavan, you are not looking beautiful to me. I'm not able to feel it. They opened, and then when they closed, I started crying. You're going away from me now. The attachment comes like this. Any Bhagavan. Just pick one. Sometimes the Acharya, for your sake, they say pick one you like. They know fully well, I'm sure. There is nothing you like or dislike. You look at one, you'll start liking. It is all here. Once you start that, just make that connection, attachment, and don't leave him. Because he won't leave you. He'll find you in some other way. Like Putana, no? Aho bakiyam sthanakala kutam. He'll hold you and remove the prana and the Atma with him and take you. Once he holds you, he doesn't leave. Okay, that is his vrata. That's why in the Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta, his vrata is kept. Okay, that I will take care of everybody who is associated with our Acharya, Sampradaya.
So my question from my side is all about how is that manas, the control of mind or the clarity of mind, how do we maintain that? Because
Nama Sankirtan.
as you get older, you get Alzheimer's and all that. right? So
We Indians don't get so much. Don't eat meat and have good balanced diet. Pranayam very important. Do pranayam in the morning, half an hour, 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Slowly, slow and steady, and consistent every day. Do some yoga if you can do stretches, no problem. Brahmari pranayam if you do, Alzheimer's and all. If you do it correctly, of course. Because you mentioned Alzheimer's, I'm talking about the physical aspect. Then you do yoga and so on. Control the mind in terms of like our mind sways. No? We think of one thing and suddenly we think of another. See, all these things are the vrittis. You can't control it. What you can do is you can alternate it. Very easy to alternate. So give it an alternative. I was telling my friend this morning. He was asking me exactly this question. That is there something in my chart which is making me all frizzled? I'm not able to concentrate on this. Whether it is in your chart or not is of little consequence. It's all here. All you do when you see, you do. Sometimes you are. I'm sure you know. Sometimes when you are doing bhajan, you are in trance, and suddenly after some time you do the same bhajan, you won't get into that trance. Yeah? What do you do then? Sometimes you feel like doing bhajan for 6 hours, and sometimes you don't feel like doing bhajan at all.
right.
Swami says that don't feel like doing bhajan, then don't do anything. Just sit, read, shastram, write. Nothing, just write Ram, Ram, Radha, Radha, Ram, 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 Narayana, Narayana. Write. But don't replace your Ram Ram time with watching TV and Friends or something. People watch all kinds of. Don't replace it. You have to consistently tune your mind, and this is what I did as well. When I was in 2007, when I was in Sheffield, those days I had just recognized that there is something there. I was always looking for Vedanta. I never found it. I didn't know where it was, and there's a story about it. I'll tell another time if I haven't told already. But once I was walking down, there's the Indian store was very far, some 15 kilometers away in some Oxford Road or something it was called. Very far. So and those days I never had money. I used to survive a month with 60 pounds. Buy rice, oil and all, salt and potatoes. I never had money those days. I had money enough, but I never, I never knew that you can spend so much. So I would never spend 4 pounds on this thing, on the car to bring food back, Uber and so on. There's no chance. I'm a party fellow. The 15 kilometers is nothing. I'll walk and come back. And 15 one way, 15 30 kilometers I used to walk. One evening it would take me from 1 o'clock. If I start by 6, 7 o'clock, I'll be back. While coming back, I used to carry like 20 kgs of food. So it lasts me a month with all the things. While walking, those days I didn't have earphones also. I was singing, something I was singing, and suddenly it occurred to me, what am I singing? Gajendra Moksha I was saying, Narayan Kavach. Then I thought to myself, every time I walk and I'm always humming Gajendra Moksha, Narayan Kavach. Always that is only coming from my mouth. Yasminnidam yataschedam yenedam ya idam swayam yasmat parasmat parastam prapadye swayam bhuvam yashvatmanidam. Always it's coming. So I realized that every morning I do patha, so that patha remains with me through the day. So I realized when this patha is remaining with me through the day, why am I listening to all kinds of nonsense music? But the mind is not ready to listen to bhajans all the time, because when you are brought up, when you have been brought up for 9, 10, 11 years in the school where you're listening to rap and Eminem and the kind of music that you listen to, you suddenly go into Ram ko dekh kar Shri Janak Nandani Bhag mein ja khadi ki khadi reh gayi. How will you? There is no transformation. So what did I do? Found a middle ground. Jatatavi galajjala pravaha pavita stale galevalam yalam bhitambu tunga malikam damad 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 damanninada vaddamarvayam takara chanda tandavam danotu na shiva shivam. This kind of songs I started listening, hip hop bhajans. Then I downloaded those and I started listening. So I used to give say 50% of downloaded and every now and then listen to the old songs. And slowly I replaced all the nonsensical songs with bhajans and then replaced these modern bhajans with the older ones with some more meaning. It's a transformative journey. You can control. It's not necessarily born with you. It's not necessarily. It is a developed trait. You develop it. When you see that this is what I need to do and this is what I do not have, you work towards attaining it. You find your responsibility and find a way to be interested in it. Don't find your interest. That's my personal thing. I don't think that one should chase their interests unequivocally. If that interest lines with some societal benefit, then well and good. But if not, then interest is the cause of the decline of society. If you are only going behind interest, if the self-interest is not in line with the societal interest, then the society will deteriorate because of your actions. So you must find that common ground. Find your responsibility. And if you have something else, find a way to perform that something else alongside your responsibility at the very least. And so if there is this mind, allow that mind to work this way. Bhajan, kirtan. When you're watching TV, 5 minutes TV, watch an upadesha, something. You have to allow, you have to, don't force it, then it will retaliate. Start replacing it. When you're cooking, bhajan, something, upadesha, consistently. And then the transformation takes place. Then the mind does not become swayed. Malinta will go because of the Nama, Rama, that Malinta will go. Every time you feel that wavy, that your mind is wavering, Ram. Every time you think that the mind is doing something, Ram. Just concentrate on Ram. Prabhu, remove me from this position. Anything that, the kind of thoughts you shouldn't have, Ram. That's why our Purkha, all our ancestors, anything happened, Ram. Rama, what has happened? Oh, Ram, Ayyo Rama. In the south also, Ayyo Rama. Ram, why are you saying it? Is because, in the Christian faith, they say, don't say a name, the Lord's name in vain. I'm saying, say only the Lord's name in vain. Only say Lord's name. Nobody else's name. Because that Lord will only, the Bhagavan will only remove you from the situation that you are in and put you in a productive situation so that he can only attain you. Essentially.
It goes back to Karma Yoga, right? Do your things when you're right and you're in your right mind, keep doing the same thing that you need to do, so that when you're in trouble, automatically muscle memory kicks in and it automatically gets you there. That's all it is.
When I'm staying in the house, right now I'm alone in the house. Essentially, I was just thinking, when I go to shower in the morning, I lock the door. I can just close the door, it clicks. I don't need to lock it because nobody's in the house. It's the muscle memory. And I don't want to come away from it. Because when actually somebody comes home, if I don't lock the door, there's going to be a problematic situation. So you see that muscle memory is so important. What you do in front of people, you should do out when you are not with people. How you change in front of people, you change when people are not there also. That's why our Krishna Bhagavan gave Upadesha to the gopis while stealing their clothes. How you behave with men around, you behave when men are not around. How you behave with people around, behave when people are not around. Only then you have that one, that Advaita Sthiti will come, that you are that one entity of that Paramatma. If you have one face here, one face there, one face somewhere else, then you have conflict within you. How can you understand that the entity with no conflict when you have that simple conflict within you? So behave exactly like you would when you are in the absence of people, or like you would behave when you are in the presence of people. And that will make a big difference to our lives. Japa, Pranayama, if you can do pranayama for good health. Pranayama again for attaining Bhagavan only, no? Because you're performing Kainkariam. So your body needs to be healthy. So perform.
Yeah.
Good. Simple. Sit for half an hour at least. Nadi Shodhan and Bhastrika and Kapala Bhati and Brahmari, if you can do Brahmari. Brahmari you know how to do. The simple is cover your eyes like this, cover your ears properly and take a deep breath. Depends, like that 4 or 5 times. Cover it properly so you can't, it vibrates. Gently do it 4 or 5 times, don't do too many times. That is Brahmari. Nadi Shodhan is Analom Vilom. Start with the left nostril, inhale. Like that. So that is Analom Vilom. Kapala Bhati is Kapal Bhati is forced exhalation from the stomach. It is the movement of the stomach. Don't use the chest. Okay, not the only the diaphragm. Just pull the stomach in. Just slowly. Okay, you can do this. In the beginning, it will be difficult. 20 times, wait 20 times like that, and you can do it for half an hour, 1 hour continuously after that. I do around half an hour. And then Kapalabhati, I said Bhastrika. That is forced inhalation, forced exhalation. Okay, and then just sit down quietly. Like, so these things will help the mind, will help the body also. If you're doing Surya Namaskaram and all, it's very easy, very possible. Anybody from any age can do. Okay, Surya Namaskaram, Hatha Yoga. Don't do Vinyasa. Vinyasa, you have to jump and all. Hatha Yoga, very simple, very easily possible. Anybody can do Surya Namaskar. Okay, the 12. Bhadahastasana and so on, very easy. It is, you can learn it from anyone. I mean, you should learn it from somebody useful. But I mean, if they align your body well and if you get into the practice with the breathing, do 12 rounds of Surya Namaskara every morning and pranayama for 12 rounds of Surya Namaskar. When you get this thing, it takes 10-15 minutes. And you do 10-15 minutes of pranayama. In the day, the half an hour in the day, if you can't do this thing for your body, then you don't have any time in life. So half an hour you can give, and that is all. If you do that, it's good for your mind. Okay. Anyway, okay, we'll call it an evening.
So much.
Om Lokacharya Gurave Krishna Padasya Sunave Sansara Bhogi Sandrashta Jiva Jivatave Namaha. Jai Sriman Narayana.
Jai Sriman Narayana.